Welcome back to Commercial Breaks with Miss Education. I'm Miss Education. All right, so like last episode, this episode is again geared to parents. This is just information for you, especially if your kids attend traditional public schools. And this is to affirm those teachers who realize that there's something wrong. You are not alone. You're not the only one who sees it. And I know for many educators who've spoken to me, it's hard to speak on it because it's their livelihood, right? They do know if they speak on it, there are consequences to going against the machine, to going against the system and the matrix, right? So you are not alone. There is something drastically going on and wrong with our system. I don't know if you noticed, I've been saying this for years, and lately these thoughts that I've had are just presenting themselves in media and in different arenas. I've been saying for years that the system, ever since, especially ever since George Floyd, that the system is training our children to become woke activists. If you look at what's going on with colleges and universities, you have all these students who are protesting on matters that they have no knowledge about, no real understanding, right? To their detriment. The truth is, look, whether I'm pro-Palestine or Israel, and let's say I'm pro-Palestine, you're pro-Israel, we don't get along, we don't like each other, we start fighting, we don't talk. To me, that blows my mind, because I didn't throw one bomb, I didn't kill a person, you didn't throw a bomb, you didn't kill anyone, yet you and I are fighting. You have an entire country who's divided, right, over something that neither I personally had anything to do with or the other counterpart. You have people who are losing their livelihoods. You have people who are losing friendship, family members aren't speaking on issues that they don't really know about. I find that very odd, that we are programmed to take stands, to stand for stuff that we don't understand, that we aren't educated about. But this all trickles down to the school system with our children, even to our youngest ones. A few weeks ago, my sister sent me this article. It was about a district in California who adopted a curriculum, $250,000 for this curriculum called Woke Kindergarten. You really should look it up. It's so fascinating. Woke Kindergarten. And as you can imagine, the curriculum is trying to indoctrinate our children. There you have these kids, 80% of them Hispanic. They're a lot low income, poor test scores. They spend $250,000 to adopt this curriculum, and the test scores don't go up. These children still can't read, write, math. It's not there. But I'm going to find this real quick. I want to show you what this curriculum that somebody in the district was like, this is a great idea, decided to adopt. So here's what it is. Woke Kindergarten. So the curriculum includes the woke word of the day. It includes woke read alouds. They have these conversations. They're called little, like Lil Wayne, right? Little comrade convos. And they have other things called Teach Palestine. Right? There's no hiding what the agenda is here, right? They're getting them at our children at such a young age. They have these prompts, these questions that they ask they ask the children, and they go deep into. So one of the prompts is, if the United States defunded the Israeli military, how could this money be used to rebuild Palestine? Really? That's it. Another question: if we challenge the legitimacy of the Supreme Court, how might we transfer power back to the people? That this is what this curriculum is aiming to do and to teach our children. Yet these children cannot read, cannot write. Their math scores are, very low. The woke again, look this up, please. The Woke Kindergarten website says that I'm gonna butcher her name. Oh, I'm sorry. They are they them. They are abolitionist early educator, and they created, I guess, woke kindergarten. Really look this up. This individual, whose last name is Gross, stated that they are anti-Israel and pro-Palestine. Quote, I am 100% 10 toes down anti-Israel. I believe Israel has no right to exist. I believe the United States has no right to exist. I believe every settler colony who has committed genocide against Native people, against Indigenous people, has no right to exist. This is what the creator of woke kindergarten wrote. And a district whose children are suffering, whose children are behind on so many levels. And it's, if you look at the demographics, many of them are SEI. They come into the country speaking, from a different country, English being their second language. This district thought this was exactly what these children needed to help them. I don't know. I don't know. I can't justify this, but this is what's going on. I want to tell you. So I was at a school, and I was looking at their bulletin board, and these are like 6, 7-year-olds. And the bulletin board was about, I guess, for Black History Month, it was the I Have a Dream bulletin board. And I guess the question was, or it was, I have a dream, and each child was to express their dream. And I'm reading this board, and, there were other adults there, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is so fascinating. This is so sweet. This is so amazing. And I'm standing there like, what? No, it's not. Some of the dreams were, I have a dream. I have a dream that no more gun violence. I have a dream that there's, world peace. I have a dream, no more hunger in the world. These were the dreams that 6 and 7-year-olds had. And I know off top people see that, they're like, oh my God, that's so great. These kids are wonderful. But all I thought was, wow, these are 7. They've only been on this earth for 7 years. When did they have time to figure out that they want to? I think one kid even said something about 8. Like, when did they have time to figure all this out? Like, why is a 7-year-old thinking about stuff like that? There was a child, though, who was like something about, I want to create a new flavor of ice cream and world domination. Oh, that makes more sense. Another kid's like, I want to be a soccer player. That makes more sense, right? Why are we at such a young age taking these babies and injecting this into them, right? And it's not like, first of all, we shouldn't be injecting this into 7-year-olds, but we're just like in California, they're injecting one point of view. That's what they're injecting. Instead of spending time educating these children to, again, read and write, do some math, we're spending more time training woke activists. I'm sad. I'm disgusted by this. I'll give you a personal, and I'm affected by this. I have 2 children, and one day my son comes home and he's like, Mom, I have to do a project, and we have to add 3 amendments. If I could add 3 extra amendments to what we have, what would they be? So he says to me, the first one would be the Second Amendment, right? I'm like, what about the Second Amendment? And he was like, I would put restrictions on for guns and what have you. And I'm like, wow. Again, I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I think that if presented both sides, and if this is what he agrees with and he can back it up, then that's not a problem. But when I asked him certain questions like why, what would be these restrictions, and who would they apply to, his answers didn't make sense. It's like he was programmed to say what he was saying to me, because I said to him, I was like, hey, Papa, you want to put restrictions on these guns. I hear you. The problem is, those who are going to be affected by these restrictions are mostly law-abiding citizens like myself, right? I know that, and he's like, but these gun laws are for the criminals. I said, well, by definition, criminals don't follow the law. So you can put all the restrictions in the world that you want, but they're not going to follow them. Those who are going to follow them are people like me. I'll follow it, but now you're restricting my right. And again, if he thinks that and he can back it up, I don't have a problem with that. Like, free thinking, I'm all for it, but it needs to make sense. Another one he said was giving everybody who's handicapped or disabled should get free assistance, like basically welfare. I'm like, why? What are you talking about? Why? So someone has a disability, they should get free everything? I said, Papa, I hear you. And again, you have a great heart. You see someone in need and you're like, oh, let me give you, because they're training our children to receive handouts. I said, but why? First of all, do you know who's paying to give this individual all this free stuff? He's like, yeah, the government. I said, no, sweetheart, it's not the government. It's us. It's the taxpayers. We are going to give all this money to an individual who happens to be disabled. Okay. I said, do you understand that just because you're disabled, you have a disability, does not mean that you cannot work? Just because you have a disability does not mean you cannot earn an income. Does not mean you can't sustain for yourself, right? Why are they? Where is this coming from? Why are we thinking that because someone has a disability, they are entitled to handouts, to government handouts? I had an individual say to me, and it's a 20-year-old person say to me, they're like, oh yeah, we need to help this woman out. So this is what happened, real quick. This is gonna be over 13 minutes, so my apologies. So what happened was, there was an individual who was outside to receive food. There was like a market or something where they were giving out free food, and this individual had been sitting outside for at least 2 hours, and it's in the winter, so it's cold. And this young person was like, oh my goodness, we should get them a chair, we should let them in, we should get them a coat, we should do something for them. And those of us who are older, more mature, and see life differently, we're like, why? What are you talking about? Well, they're out in the cold. They've been there for 2 hours. Shouldn't we do something? We should get them something. That's the nice thing to do. And we're like, no, that's not the nice thing to do. This is the enabling thing to do. This is what your generation has been trained to do and to think like. For the fact is that this woman, knowing what time the services would be provided, decided to leave her house 2 to 3 hours before everyone so that she could be first in line. That's perseverance and determination. We should be praising that, right? Not feeling sorry for her. That's the problem. We now are raising a bunch of individuals who don't want to push through, who don't want to work for something. They want it to be easy, handed out to them. And this is what our institutions are doing. Again, the 20-year-old is working on their masters. Like, seriously? No, there is something wrong. And I'm quietly, and I'm beginning to sound the alarm. I will refine this one day. Again, like I said, I'm literally just starting, but I know something is wrong. And I feel like we do need to speak on it. Parents, please be aware of what's going on. Question the curriculum. Don't even get me started on health classes. Question what's going on. Educators, know that you are not alone. You are not going insane. There is something wrong. There is something wrong. And I hope that I don't know. You know what I hope? I hope that even these 14 minutes that you feel validated. Educators, feel validated. You are not alone. And parents, 14-minute warning. I'm just sounding the bell. I'm sounding the alarm. As watchmen, I'm a watchwoman, right? I need to sound the alarm because something's happening and we need to wake up. We need to wake up because they're coming for our kids. I'll continue next time, I guess. Sorry, I went over 14 minutes, but okay. Commercial breaks with this education. Till next time.